up, y'all? Back at you again for the second time today. I think I'm coming at y'all 3 times today. We had an interview with Slink a little earlier where Slink Johnson talked about saving that lady or that pilot. Some airplane pilot, some clumsy ass pilot crashed and Slink Johnson saved him. So we got that story earlier today. Now I want to get into the news. As y'all know, I was at yesterday's, y'all don't know that, but I announced they had yesterday's public speaking engagement here in LA regarding reparations. And it was a very, very constructive, productive meeting. Had over 200 people in LA show out for the reparations now. Black people statewide have been harassing the bullshit politicians. I think Dr. Schroeder be proud of us for the way we've been harassing these. We've been, and not violently, non-violently, but aggressively getting at these politicians. Non-violent, but still enough to have Governor Gavin Newsom basically tell us and tell people, these people in Congress do not deserve this. I'm going to tell you a bit. We about to get started. This is the new book. This is the book I've been reading lately. This is the book I've been reading lately. We talked about it the other day on the show. I still believe in non-violent. But I also believe in this. This is a book I've been reading right here. Buy this book, y'all. It's by Charles E. Cobb. It's called This Nonviolent Stuff Will Get You Killed. And it's showing the juxtaposition of the nonviolence, civil rights stuff, and what everybody else was doing. Did a good job of pointing out a lot of the women on record that were in the movement and holding their guns and everything. But thank you, everybody. What's up, Aries? What's the Aries Cuisine? What's up? What's up, 225 girl? Douglas Sullivan. Appreciate y'all for joining. Galen. You dig? I appreciate y'all for joining. What's up, Emmanuel? What's up, Butter Love? Natural Immunity. Thank y'all for joining. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is, man, it's your man, Gavin Newsom. Boy, before I get into it, let me play the clip that I'm talking about all the way through, top to bottom. Let me play the clip. It's for 2 minutes and 44 seconds. We're going to play this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get back and break down. I'm going to play it top to bottom so people won't feel like I'm over here snipping things out. So let's
I know a little bit about that. What I do know is
Bradford's desk on August 26th.
As it relates, well, hold on. We work with the legislature throughout the legislative process on amendments. Sometimes they advance those amendments. Sometimes they don't take our amendments, and those bills are sent to my desk. I think you're referencing bills that were not sent to my desk that did not pass through the legislature. As it relates to the broader issue of reparations, which I appreciate both of you referencing, we work very closely with the Black Caucus on a package of reparations reforms. We met before the legislative session. We met during the legislative session. We worked very collaboratively on amendments. We also worked on bills without amendments. And I think the vast majority of those that we agreed to and worked collaboratively together with the Black Caucus have ended up on my desk. I'll be reviewing them all on the merits. And I want to applaud the head of the Black Caucus, Lori Wilson, who's been spectacular in advancing those bills, their principles.
Real quick, it wasn't those bills. The only bill that was advanced was a bill that restored land ownership for people who were taken, whose land was taken from them, property. And that's really an all lives matter bill. Yet it was part of the package, and it was targeted and focused on black people, but that's not a bill that's just for black people. Basically, anybody that can prove that their land was taken through eminent domain is going to benefit from that. And if they lived in a racialized area, so it's white people who still lived along the Central Avenue corridor when they built the 110 freeway. I know this because when my grandfather bought the house that he lived in my whole life. He bought that house in 1955, and he saw that 110 being built, and he said that he bought that house from a white man, and he said the majority of the neighborhood was white. So there are a lot of white people who are going to benefit, who had their houses removed to eminent domain to build the 110 freeway, the 10 freeway. There are a lot of Latinos, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do believe people should be counted. If a family bought some property in their family and that they were displaced, I'm not saying they shouldn't get what they need to get. I'm not saying they shouldn't get what they need to get. I'm just making it very clear. This isn't something that's only for black people. The one part of the reparations bill that he passed is not something that's going to benefit black people exclusively.
And advancing them in a collaborative spirit.
Much under fire about those two critical bills that did not make it to your desk.
Well, those bills, you'll have to ask them, the legislature, why those didn't land on my desk.
Did you tell the Black Caucus?
Didn't I say he was going to do that? Remember last week, I said, last week's show, I told you he's going to hide behind plausible deniability. I told y'all that. He's going to hide behind plausible deniability. He said, the brother basically asked, what about the reparations legislature bills? He said, well, you're going to have to ask the caucus for that. And the people on the caucus have been saying clearly that he wanted to gut the bills, and so that's why they're holding him. And it was ultimately is Gavin Newsom. Yes, we're going at these politicians, the assembly folks that screwed this up, and they deserve it. But we can do more things. We can do more than one thing at a time. We can do more than one thing at a time. We can go at them for screwing it up, and we can stay focused on this asshole for making them screw it up. Look at this stupid ass look he has on his face. The fuck is this? So I told y'all this was coming.
Caucus that you would veto the reparations agency and reparations fund bill?
I didn't talk directly to anyone about those two bills. As it relates to the process of how bills are done broadly in the state, there's a collaborative process. People ask our opinions. Are there concerns? Issues that have dollar figures are consistently marked. Consistently. If it wasn't done in the budget, that's going to be a challenge. There's always exceptions to that, but that's going to be a challenge. And that was a process that unfolded over the course, as I said, of months, particularly as it relates to the reparations package, in partnership with the Black Caucus. And there was no daylight with Lori Wilson and the Black Caucus as it relates to the work that we did collaboratively.
I told you, he's going to hide behind them. This thing went through state assembly. It went through appropriate. Do you know that these reparations bills had to pass state appropriations committees? There are different appropriations and things that lead into ultimately the bill getting to the governor's desk and getting voted on. This bill has gone through a whole year of scrutiny through different levels of government. What is he talking about? In order for this to get passed as far as it's gotten, that means there had to be a high level of agreement on what was in it. From the study to the people that were pushing the bills to Gavin Newsom, there has to have been a high level of agreement as to what was in this whole package. So again, he's bullshitting and hiding behind the caucus like I told you he would.
Together. And let me just, on a personal note, and forgive me about this, she did not deserve to be attacked like she was attacked. Members of the Black Caucus did not deserve to be attacked and their integrity impugned. That was
Look how he's pointing. Who the fuck are you pointing at? And when he says she, he's talking about this bride here, Lori D. Wilson. Because Lori Wilson has had to cancel a few of her appointments. She's had a few different public meetings this week that she's since had to cancel. She's had a few meetings she's had to cancel because black people are canceling her monkey ass. But Gavin Newsom is pointing as if he's not the orchestrator of these events. Make no mistake about it, he is the orchestrator of these events. Let's listen to that part again.
And forgive me about this. She did not deserve to be attacked like she was attacked. Members of the Black Caucus did not deserve to be attacked and their integrity impugned. That was disgraceful. There were members of that Black Caucus that are owed an apology for being treated the way they were treated.
This motherfucker just said they are owed an apology for killing our reparations bill.
To be doxxed, to be personally maligned and attacked. So forgive me for expressing that. Great respect and admiration for the leadership of the Black Caucus and members of the Black Caucus.
I have a question about a bill on your desk that would ban cell phones.
That are owed an apology. That was disgraceful. There were members of that Black Caucus that are owed an apology for being treated the way they were treated.
You see how he can talk? You see how easy it is for them to talk crazy to us and tell us what we need to do? Who the fuck is Gavin freaky ass Newsom? Freaky ass Newsom, he the 69 guy. This who Gavin Newsom is. Freaky ass Newsom is going to come around and tell us what we need to do. Let me give y'all, speaking of that, speaking of what was going on and what's been going on, let's take a look, because I want to send a shout out to everybody who attended yesterday's meeting, reparations meeting in Lamert Park. Here we go. Look at this. Come on. It was well over 200 people that came and attended yesterday's meeting. And there was a lot more people standing outside. Just that place was hot as hell. And there were more people off to the side. So this was organized in a day. It wasn't even 2 whole days. This was organized. And we showed up. And questions were answered as to what was going on and why this situation happened. And as you see, there's in the green, that's Friday, Miss Friday Jones. We spoke with her yesterday. That's her sitting down in the green. And then we had some speakers that came out. Not speakers, but people who got up and spoke. I'm gonna show y'all some of the speaking. This is Connie Collins, if y'all on Twitter. She got up and spoke. You can't hear that. Connie basically talked about the need for delineation and why delineation is so important in this process, because, you know, Connie's a lawyer and behind her is Camila Moore. They're both lawyers. We all know if we make this race-based, it's going to get struck down. So Connie got up and spoke about the importance of making it lineage-based. And then here we go. This nigga right here. I didn't play too much of it, but here, this guy right here, he's who I want to talk about. He really came down to the hood and tried to bullshit us yesterday. This guy right here. Go here. This guy right here. This is who he is. He's Assemblyman Bryan. I'm going to get into this interview he had earlier with Dominique DePrima this morning, But this guy right here, Isaac Bryan, a guy with two first names, he is a politician, local assemblyman. He's part of the CLBC sellout committee. He's the treasurer. So him being the treasurer, mind you, this bill had this reparations package had $12 million set aside to build a fund to build a bureau for Black American Freedmen Affairs. This guy is the treasurer. So for him to say he didn't know anything about what's been happening throughout the process and then turn around and say no, that's some BS. This is one of the guys that was standing in the way figuratively and literally of this vote taking place. So this is Isaac Bryan talking. You can barely hear it. I know that, and the reason why you can barely hear him because he was bullshitting so much, people got tired of it and started interrupting him. You see Friday sitting there, she looking like, you ain't.
You're supposed to represent us, not your colonies. You're supposed to represent us, not your colonies. My grandfather was lynched.
You hear that? He's talking about representing. This brother say, you supposed to represent us. Listen to this bullshit.
You're supposed to represent us, not your colonies. You're supposed to represent us, not your colonies. My grandfather was lynched.
Everybody's about to get out to it to speak. Let Isaac finish and we're coming. I see y'all the president.
They all in his ass. Look. See that? This sister got up and spoke. But it was a lot going on yesterday. And so, and then when the Isaac Bryan guy went to his car, the people followed him out. Rest assured, the people most definitely followed him out and continued to ask him further questioning, if you dig what I'm saying. So this is what's happening now. The worst thing they could have done was veto this bill. Actually, the worst thing Newsom could have done was have the caucus sit on it the way he did, because now we focused on them and him. And so what we see now, I saw more people there than at meetings before. And I think we're going to start, I know we're going to start seeing more of that, because a lot of Black Americans are pissed. I saw my man in the chat, Hurt, going. I don't see Hurt, my mod, Hurt. I don't see him in here. But Hurt, he was there last night, one of my mods. Nicey girl, you see her on, she has the Godcast with Sincere, that podcast. She was there. A few people that be in the chat was actually there live. Cole Craig, he be in the chat. A few people from the chat were there too last night. And so this is who Newsom was telling us to apologize to. Now, what I want to do now is go over to Dominique DePrima's page, and I want you to listen to a little bit of his bullshit. I don't have any timestamps. I just figure if I hit play at any point, you're gonna hear some bullshit. So let me go ahead.
don't think our reparations were included
What's
in
going
that.
on? Why am I not? Come on now. Why is the camera? There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, and go to Breakthrough Cards right now for your cardology. I know I've been neglecting my cardology, folks, but we're gonna get into some readings pretty soon. If y'all want me to do some readings later on, let me know. But where were we? Here we go. Here we go.
Original package of 14.
And in the report,
some of which I agree with people who don't think that.
yeah,
And then the other thing is these two bills is not because they're tied to a certain person or because of anything else. It's because having an agency and having a funding mechanism are two foundational elements of actually moving forward with not just cash reparations, but any extensive reparations program. So I think that's why we felt this urgency around those two.
Dominique Dupree framed a great question. She basically is telling him what we've been saying, that the two bills that they didn't push through were to create an agency that's lineage based, that sets up a formalized system for any future disbursements.
Particular bills.
And she basically asking him. She basically asked him, "Why wait? Like why? What's the delay?"
I think that's absolutely fair. You know, on a personal level, I would have had no problem sending these to the governor. But I think when you're moving in solidarity, not just with your colleagues in Sacramento, but within community, and there are disagreements strategically in different places, you've got to make the best decisions you can. And in this particular,
you hear that shit? He said, "I would have loved to have passed it, but you got to move in solidarity." No, you don't. No, you don't. People are entitled to their own vote. And based on the votes that was pledged, this bill did not need every member of the of the CLBC. They did not need every member to vote yes. If 3 or 4 members of the black delegation voted no on this, it still would have passed. And it still would have gotten to Gavin Newsom's desk. Even if members of that caucus said no and voted no, it still would have gotten there. So he's bullshitting.
for instance, there was a decision collectively by majority of the caucus to not move these this year, to fix them.
And by caucus, you mean the California Legislative Black Caucus.
Black
so
Caucus.
Our black lawmakers internally decided not to move these bills forward.
To clean them up,
See, that was a great question. She said internally. Let's listen to that part again. Listen to this bullshit. He said to clean them up, but he never mentions how he's gonna clean them up. Let's listen to that part again.
In this particular instance, there was a decision collectively by majority of the caucus to not move these this year, to fix them.
And by caucus, you mean the California Legislative Black Caucus.
Black
so
Caucus.
Our black lawmakers internally decided not to move these bills forward.
To clean them up, to make them stronger, to fix them, to iron out questions about the administration and last minute amendments, to all of these things. Have more conversations about the veto threats that had been softly suggested back down. I mean, there were.
Newsom, he just called you out. He didn't mean to say that. You heard him say, he said veto threats, and then he turned around and changed the subject. Listen again.
More conversations about the veto threats that had been softly suggested back down. I mean, there were.
The veto threats that were softly suggested to back down. Chad, I want y'all to hear his words. These are his words.
Have more conversations about the veto threats that had been softly suggested back down. I mean, there were.
He said that they had to have conversations about the veto threats. So, Gavin Newsom, you over here telling us we need to apologize.
Let me just, on a personal note, And forgive me about this. She did not deserve to be attacked like she was attacked. Members of the Black Caucus did not deserve to be attacked and their integrity impugned.
You're right about that, Gavin Newsom. Members of the Black Caucus did not deserve to be attacked. You deserve. Because according to Assemblyman Bryan, you're the one that had the veto threats. And that's what made them all quiver like a bunch of little punks.
You know, have more conversations about the veto threats that had been softly suggested back down. I mean, there were conversations in that final.
The veto threats that were softly suggested. See, you got to be able to pick up on this stuff quick. Like when you're listening, the news ain't going to give it to you right away. You got to listen. You got to listen like a motherfucker. You got to listen. Sorry, I jumped to the wrong screen. You got to listen. You got to be hear this. And that's why you need that intellectual power. This intellectual power will help your ass listen. Look, I got the website pinned at the top of the chat. Mods, y'all see the website pinned at the top. Repost it and get some of this intellectual power right here. I'm telling y'all right now, this stuff here makes my brain work right. You can go to intellectualpower.net, and they got all the science on here. You know, you got all of the science on here. You got all of the what it is, what it's about, testimonies, ingredients, reviews, all that good stuff right there at intellectualpower.net. This is a brain stimulant. This is for people that are sharp of mind and want to get sharper of mind, like myself. All I saw was Cindy Blackman Santana's endorsing this. I love listening to her play the drums. When I saw Cindy Blackman Santana on the drums, shit. Y'all gonna want to go to intellectualpower.net. I've been telling you about this for like a month now. Ain't I been telling you about a month now? It keeps you sharp. It keeps me sharp. So, hey. Now, you dig what I'm saying? So go make sure you go ahead and get that at intellectualpower.net. All right, folks? And can y'all hit the share button? We got 611 in here on YouTube. We got another 230 in over on Twitter. Also, y'all, I'm doing my live music mixdown tonight. In about 7:30 Pacific time, we're gonna come back in here and we're gonna play some music. We're gonna play some I haven't figured out what I'm gonna mix down yet, but there's a lot of new music that is dropped. I'm gonna play some new music some music that came out today, and I'm gonna play some some good old classics from the 70s. We're gonna play some end of summer hotter than a motherfucking music tonight. All right, so stay here on X and also over on Mixcloud. If you want to be part of the chat room, be part of the interactive crowd, meet us on Mixcloud. And for those of you who want to stay on X, fine, you can stay over on X, and we're gonna do a live music mix down tonight. All right. We're going to play some music. What's up, By the Time? What's up, Mark? What's up, Mark Anthony 81? Hey, 400, you said you'll be there? Yeah, we're going to be playing some music tonight. We're going to be playing some music tonight, boy. All right. So, here we go. So, let's go back in to what's up, DJ Scrap Dirty? Yes, sir. We're going to be getting in. You say you took your three intellectual capsules today, too? Hell yeah. Telling y'all right now, that intellectual power, folks, I like it because I like being sharp. You know what I mean? I like my brain working like, yeah. I like my brain being that sharp. You dig? So let's go back over to this Assemblyman's bullshit ass excuse party. And I want to salute Dominique DePrima for asking these questions and sticking him to it. Let's keep going.
Week that, final days that none of us, myself in particular, I anticipated. There was, we were cruising to the end of session.
Well, let's go back. I want to go back to this part because I'm going to go back to the part where he talks about Governor Gavin Newsom basically not forcing them, but saying he's going to veto. And then he's saying the bill wasn't perfect. The bill wasn't right. Now he's going to go into saying he thought it was all going to be right, and then it changed. Listen to how his story changes up.
More conversations about the veto threats that had been softly suggested back down. I mean, there were conversations in that final week that, final days that none of us, myself in particular, I anticipated. There was, we were cruising to the end of session. I was ready to vote on my final bills and go get married.
Right. And instead you went and got married.
Instead, I flipped.
She said, instead you went and got married. Damn. Yeah, so he's talking about voting on final bills. He thought it was all good. He said himself, he thinks it's all good. So if you think it's all good, then why don't you put it on Gavin Newsom and make him veto it? Put the pressure on him and his political chances for the 2028 federal election. He's telling you right now that remember I told y'all when I first talked about it, they fell on the sword. He's basically telling you he fell on the sword. Let's go a little further up and see what he's talking about.
Nothing that's hard is easy. I know that's an oxymoron.
Look, I hear what you're saying here, DJ, but everything ain't the boule and everything ain't immigrants. It's a whole lot of non-boule, foundational ADOS Black Americans who are full of shit too, right? Let's not focus. It's good to sometimes to see people's backgrounds. That's good, but when you only focus on backgrounds, that means in a lot of ways you let people off who are homegrown from the soil that betray us. The first people who betrayed us as Black people were us. Before the immigrants got here, we were betraying ourselves. All right, let's make that very clear. I believe in calling out tethers just the same way I believe in calling out coons. But make it be very clear. The boule didn't start till 1900. Black people were selling out Black people long before the year 1900. It was sometime after 19. I forgot the exact year. What year did the boule start? The boule started in 1904. Well, Denmark Vesey, his revolt was in 1822. The thing that stopped the Denmark Vesey revolt, where we had over 9,000 Black people in the state of South Carolina ready to turn shit up, was a coon-ass, preaching-ass nigga. It was a preacher, coon, foundational ADOS, freedman, Black American that did it. We ain't innocent. We ain't innocent. We got to call out people who are full of shit no matter what their background is. I do believe in delineating and distinguishing because, unfortunately, when I look in politics, the majority of people in politics who are telling us what we cannot get are non-foundational Black American, but that's not to excuse those who are. If you spend too much time focused on the issue with you on the background of the people, you lose focus and sight on what the problem is. The problem is people who sell us out, and whether they Black Americans, FBA, whether they non-FBA, whether they whatever they are, they all deserve equal levels of heat. They all deserve equal levels of us coming at them. They all deserve our angst. Look. At the end of the day, Black people, we don't do certain things. So Black people, I don't want. This is the reason why I'm mad at. I'm going at Gavin Newsom for talking shit the way he talking. We just talking shit. We pointing at them. We're calling them out as we should. We ain't doing what y'all do. Hell, the white boy just tried to shoot President Trump, 2 months ago? God damn, we ain't that. You niggas done killed Lincoln, Robert Kennedy, shot Reagan. God damn, the killed William McKinley. Y'all killed President McKinley at the state fair. How in the hell do a president get killed having fun? Y'all killed Abe Lincoln at the Ford Theater. Abe Lincoln went to the theater that night thinking he about to watch a play, thinking he about to listen to some singing and some dancing, and then crack, gone. So the last thing we need is one of y'all motherfuckers telling us what we can and cannot do with our politicians. We ain't doing the fuck y'all did, nor do I encourage it. So calm down with that bullshit, all right? We are publicly ridiculing these people as we should, because they are our employees. They work for us, not the other way around. Hell, y'all remember a couple years ago when they tried to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer? Let me see here. Y'all remember this? "13 men went to go kidnap a sitting governor." And Governor Gretchen Whitmer, don't she look like every white woman that's been in every Lifetime movie ever? She look like the evil bitch in Lifetime. She look like the one that sleeps with the nice lady's husband on a Lifetime movie. I remember I used to watch, when I was a kid, my mom would be watching them Lifetime movies. It would be like one peaceful, it'd be like a family, a Christmas movie with a peaceful home. And then some woman comes out and she destroys the whole family. And then the man has to come and he has to, don't she look like her? I swear to God, if I was casted for a Lifetime film, I'm calling Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Ah, damn. Yeah, this is I'm gonna call her Governor Lifetime. You see that? Look, is it just me? Is it just me? Does that not look like a Lifetime character to you? Is it just me? Yeah, a Hallmark movie. She look like she be in a Christmas movie. She make like the dopest ass what do you call them? Gingerbread cookies. She like the kind of chick that make gingerbread cookies and then put some poison in them, but the person, like the husband, was supposed to die, but he didn't die, and he's in the coma, and then she's going around. Then she goes and she finds the prosecuting attorney that's prosecuting the case, and then she go and sleep with him, and then it becomes this twisted entanglement, and then she gets him divorced from his family, and then only for the end of the movie before it to come out that she was the one that poisoned the cinnamon gingerbread cookies. Ain't that her? I'm sorry. I digress. I get caught in these. I'm sorry. I just go there sometimes. I'm sorry. It's hot as fuck in LA. That's why you need this damn intellectual power. Like, I'm pushing this shit here because I love it. Like, I see the difference. I see the difference. I promise you I do. That ain't no bullshit, all right? When I say I see the difference, I see the difference. I believe in passing along information. When I get something that's good, I'm telling y'all. Yeah, so this is what we dealing with here in California. We dealing with, hit the like button. Appreciate that, Markeith. Hit the like button. And hit the share button. We got over 800 people in here across social media platforms. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. All right? So back to this bullshit this dude is talking. Y'all ready to listen to some more bullshit? Y'all want some more bullshit? Like to hit? Here go. Let's see. Let's come on. Let's see what they talking about out of commercial. Let's come in right here. Let's go right here.
Bryan, who represents California's 55th Assembly District, where I happen to live, is on the air with me right now addressing the controversy around the two particular reparations bills that were killed for this session and killed by the California Legislative Black Caucus. People feel that as a betrayal. How do we know? What's the guarantee that these bills will come back? And do you think that this decision not to pass them on to the governor's desk was a mistake?
One, they will absolutely come back. That's my guarantee. That's my colleagues' guarantee. We are committed to this work. I'm committed to this work, and they're going to come back either stronger or with greater solidarity inside and out.
I gotta watch out for that. He said they're going to come back, but they're going to come back stronger or in with greater solidarity. But just a few minutes ago, he just said that he thought that the bill was going to pass through smoothly. See, this is why he got cussed out last night in Lamar Park. He tried to come amongst us. He tried to come down amongst the intelligent black folks, and he thought he was going to just be able to bullshit us with word salad on some fake-ass Kamala Harris type shit. He thought he was going to be able to come down here and word salad a bunch of black folks, and it didn't happen. He thought this is what it was. This man came down to this environment. You see him sitting over there, right? He's sitting right there. You see right there? That's where he's sitting. I at least applaud him. I applaud him for at least coming. It was in his district, so he should have been there. We need to hold another one of these, and we're gonna. What I'm hearing is they're gonna hold more of these in these districts where these assemblymen are. So this is him right here. He thought he was gonna come down to the hood in Lamar Park and impress us with these bullshit ass answers. Listen.
The ability to clean up any potential problems that may or may not have existed structurally.
You know what that means? Gut it. Because remember, the reason why you got to go back to why they even want to pull the bill back, why they pulled the bill back to begin with. They pulled the bill back to begin with, according to them, because of Governor Newsom. I might need to get my two turntables on right here. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back and play. I'm gonna get two at the same time, so I can play what he said side by side. Let me go back to what he had
in
said
the language of some of them.
Where was he at earlier? He was here. It was wrong.
Anticipated. There was.
Here we go. Let's play side by side. All right. Let's play this side by side. I just rewound back to the earlier part. And this is, again, it's at KBLA. Go subscribe to KBLA. Dope ass radio station. KBLA 1580 AM here in Los Angeles. It's so dope that they're putting this news out here for us. I appreciate KBLA for this. But let's go back to what he said first.
To fix them, to iron out questions about, the administration and last minute amendments, to all of these things, have more conversations about in different places. You've got to make the best decisions you can. And in this particular instance, there was a decision collectively.
Well, no, that wasn't it.
Because they're tied to a certain person or because of anything else. It's because having an agency and having a funding mechanism are two foundational elements of actually moving forward with not just cash reparations, but any extensive reparations program. So I think that's why we felt this urgency around those two particular bills.
I think that's I think that's absolutely fair. You know, on a personal level, I would have had no problem sending these to the governor. But I think when you're moving in solidarity, not just with your colleagues in Sacramento, but within community, and there are disagreements strategically in different places, you've got to make the best decisions you can. And in this particular instance, there was a decision collectively by majority of the caucus to not move these this year, to fix them.
And by caucus, you mean the California Legislative
Black
Caucus.
Caucus.
Our black lawmakers internally decided not to move these bills forward.
To clean them up, to make them stronger, to fix them, to iron out questions about the administration and last minute amendments.
No, he's been very vague. He's not mentioning what needs to be ironed out.
Amendments to all of these things, have more conversations about the veto threats that had been softly suggested back down. I mean, there were conversations in that final week that, final days that none of us, myself in particular, I anticipated. There was.
So it was something that was strong. And then it jumps from that to this.
In the language of some of them, and they're going to be continued. One, they will absolutely come back. That's my guarantee. That's my colleagues' guarantee. We are committed to this work. I'm committed to this work. And they're going to come back either stronger or with greater solidarity inside and out. The ability to clean up any potential problems that may or may not have existed structurally in the language of some of them. And they're going to be
have existed structurally. How can you clean up something that may or may not exist? If something needs to be cleaned, I can look and be like, okay, there's a pile of dirty ass shit on the floor that needs to get cleaned up. There is no may or may not pile of shit that needs to clean up. Either it's shit on the floor that needs to clean up, or it's no shit on the floor that needs to clean up. There's no may or may not shit on the floor for me to clean up. He's bullshitting us to our faces, boy.
Continue to be part of the framework that we build on. We've got a lot of work to do. And so they'll be back. They'll be back next session. And if there's a window for urgency, we would push for that too.
I mean, the governor's has a special session.
So yeah. So you get to see in one interview how he says two different things. Yeah, stand in solidarity with your family, with your people. The people of your district is who you need to be standing in solidarity with. Because like I said, it wouldn't have mattered even if he gets up there and says, you know what? I'm not going to vote on this. There were still enough votes for it to happen. There were still enough votes for it to get passed. But the California Black Legislative Caucus decided to fall on the sword for Gavin Newsom. And Gavin Newsom, in return for them falling on the sword, pulls this bullshit. Let's watch this again.
Like she was attacked. Members of the Black Caucus did not deserve to be attacked and their integrity impugned. That was disgraceful.
Bitch, please.
There were members of that Black Caucus that are owed an apology for being treated the way they were treated.
From who?
To be doxxed, to be personally maligned and attacked. So forgive me for expressing that. Great respect and admiration.
Who owed him an apology? Gavin Newsom? Who? Who? Gotta watch out for free. You gotta watch out for freaky ass Newsom. Remember, this is freaky ass Newsom right here. Freaky ass Newsom was smashing his assistant's wife. And I'm sure he is probably smashing his assistant too. Who else has a male assistant? He was smashing his campaign manager's wife. That's the kind of integrity this guy has. You can't trust somebody look, I know fellas be dipping and dabbling and whoopty and whammy, and I get it. But to smash another man's wife, that shows a certain level of already moral decrepity, moral depravity. You're a very morally weak person to do that to begin with. And to smash the wife of your campaign manager, his campaign manager is the reason why you were even elected to the job of mayor of San Francisco. Freaky ass Newsom, he the 69 God. Freaky ass Newsom, he the 69 God. Freaky ass Newsom. Look at freaky ass Newsom. Look at freaky ass Newsom. Let me see about this other one. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find something else with freaky ass Newsom on it. Maybe.
Gavin Newsom was caught on camera sounding like a Karen. The governor was telling some California mayors a story about when he was shopping at Target and spotting a shoplifter. Listen.
No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. See, a lot of them freaky ass stories of Newsom have since been scrubbed. A lot of them freaky ass. I'm looking for some of them freaky ass stories because he got a whole lot of freaky ass stories about him. Let me see if I can find something. Most of that shit's been scrubbed because most of the story, most like Gavin Newsom's bathhouse shit, that go back to the 90s and the early 2000s. Nah, I'm gonna have to go. Well, I'm gonna have to go in the LA Times archives. I am going to have to go into the archives. Let me see. Let me see here. Nah, let me see here. Nah, I can't find it. Yeah, they done scrubbed it. Well, they out there, goddammit. They out there. I'm gonna have to look up some of that. I'm gonna have to go on a deep dive when I'm not live about his time in his bathhouse stuff. Freaky ass Newsom, he the 69 guy. He said Newsom ain't nothing but a younger carbon copy of Joe Biden. You probably right. You probably right. Freaky ass Newsom. Well, I will say this though. The pressure that we've been putting on them, I will say that maybe it did. Now, I believe in getting wins. For me, a loss for you isn't necessarily a win for me. I like everybody to win. You know what I mean? Overall. But I will say this. That that bill that that stupid ass California had up. Newsom vetoed it. The bill that he was going to have that was going to help undocumented people get $150,000. He did kill it. This is only halfway decent thing that he done. Because California was trying to give undocumented folks $150,000 in state-backed home loans. And Newsom came out and was like, nah. So at least he did that. But that's not enough. You got to do something for us, homeboy. Terry Silver, Gavin freaky ass Newsom. Got your political positions on your knees just like Kamala, from what I hear. Allegedly. I don't know. What's up, Herc? Yeah, Herc was there last night. You see Herc in the chat? He was there last night. They was giving that motherfucker hell. They was giving him hell. We got over. If I got 400 in here on Twitter, that man I need to see 400 retweets of this, and I got another 500 here on YouTube. So I need at least 500 likes right now. Hit the like button, and then also go to intellectualpower.net. It is in the description. It is in the description. There's some cold ass stuff right here. Some cold ass product. And join the Patreon, because on Patreon next week, we're gonna go even deeper into the history of Black American music and how they destroyed it. But tonight, here on X and also on Mixcloud, mixcloud.com/DewanB, we're doing a live music mix now. I'm gonna play some brand new stuff that just dropped today. I'm also gonna play some old school stuff. We're gonna play some good old music, but we also gonna play some music of today that's showing you that it's still good music around. Remember this, people. I want to give this message as I talk about politics. I got to remind y'all something. At the end of the day, we don't control none of this shit. These folks got game on top of game on top of game. And it's our job, it's our civic duty to stay civilly engaged in the civic process. But at the same time, man, don't let this stuff, how can I say this? Don't let it mess with your head. Okay? We talking politics, but I talk politics the same way I talk about the Lakers. I want my team to win, but I don't care, because at the end of the day, what we have, we still have all of the power that we need within. There's nothing externally that can do more for us than we can do for ourselves. Now, since I do live in a representative democracy, not a real democracy, I live in a federal oligarchy, but my local politics are a representative democracy. I pay attention to my electorate and follow what they do, because I do have some semblance of control over what happens here locally in Los Angeles, California. I don't have any control over what happens federally. But regardless of whether I have control over it or not, you gotta keep your mind right. And like you gotta stay spiritually centered. You gotta stay centered in who you know you are, centered in, your thoughts, stay grounded, and make sure you love. It's a lot of our family, a lot of people we know, they ain't gonna agree with us politically. We're the fringe. We're us fighting for reparations, us saying fuck Gavin Newsom, fuck Kamala, whatever, Trump. We're the minority. Don't lose real life relationships over political bullshit. This stuff is meant to divide us on that level. Don't be divided. You should be able to disagree with somebody politically and still break bread with them 5 minutes later. On a personal level, don't let this stuff take your spirit, man. Like, you gotta stay centered. You gotta stay and know that you are your solution. And knowing you are your solution, you go to your political representatives to get whatever help that's out there, because at the end of the day, governments are spending trillions of dollars every day. Your state, your city, your county, your country, they're circulating the money and putting it back out there. So, of course, you want to participate and get your fair share of the money. But don't let this shit take your spirit, man. It ain't that serious. Fuck these people. They are not worth your sanity. They are not worth your sanity. They're not. We still got to be ourselves, and we still got to love ourselves first. You dig? So that's what we do. Ben Martinez said, boo boo and Gavin. I'm over trying to tell y'all some real shit. You niggas got the jokes. Dookie Newsom. Dookie Newsom. That was funny as hell. Yeah. That's a good point, Nick Walker. Watch the money. And Camilla Moore made that point. $12 million was allocated for reparations under the bills. Now watch and see who is controlling these funds. Who gives these contracts in? Who does the CLBC appropriate this money towards? Because that's what's gonna say a lot. Well, Camilla Moore made a good point that a lot of these organizations have been drying up on getting their money, so now they're coming after reparations money. Got to watch out for a lot of these organizations. Somebody says your votes are very, very, very important. It depends on which votes. You vote for city council, very important. You vote for president, not important at all. You vote for the local judge, important. You vote for president, not at all. All right? But thank y'all for listening. We're going to be back in a couple hours doing the live music mixdown, all right? We about to play some music and have some fun. You dig what I'm saying? Cool. So again, thank y'all again for listening. Freaky ass Newsom, your time is coming up, boy. You're not going to be president thinking you're going to do some shit like this to us. No, you're not. All right? I want to thank y'all again for listening. And remember, go to intellectualpower.net, go to dewanb.com, book your readings. Go to patreon.com. Next week, we're going to go further into the destruction of black music. That's going to be up on Patreon. And I got some more interviews for next week set up. We're going to have some interviews for next week that we have. So go to patreon.com/DewanB for all that. I'm going to play my interview with Miss Alex Brown, legendary singer. She's going to tell you the story behind, her writing songs like Kisses Don't Lie from Evelyn Champagne King to Just Because by Anita Baker. She's going to tell stories about singing behind Ray Charles and Elvis and Marvin Gaye and Michael Jackson. We're going to talk about all that in the interview, all right? But you got to go to Patreon for it. Thank y'all again for listening. Remember, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. We out.